And welcome back in, Retriever fans. It's the month of March. Weather's getting nice outside, so must mean college baseball season is here. And we're back again for season 2 of the UMBC Baseball Weekly Report with UMBC Baseball head coach Liam Bowen. Coach, welcome into another season.
Thanks, Dave. Glad to be seeing you again.
So the season already getting underway, 2 weeks in for the Retrievers, 1-6 to start the year. Some tough losses, 1-run losses in 5 of those 6 games. Just kind of give a recap how the early season has gone so far.
Sure. So, it's obviously, I think it's fair to say it's been frustrating. I mean, we've played 4 road games and we've been walked off on 4 times. And I was just out on the field with our team. The guys are in really good spirits. The guys understand that we're doing a number of things fairly well. I think we're definitely improved from last year. We have some individual guys playing well. I think the way I kind of put it to them was we've been controlling parts of games. Like I think last night against Georgetown, when Keegan Leffler came in and gave the ball to Colton Bear, like those innings, we really controlled the game. We were scoring, we were throwing a lot of strikes, kind of playing our style. I thought all of that was really positive. We just need to start controlling games from the first pitch to the last. That's kind of the next step for this group. But the signs are there. I think sometimes, a team that's not winning as much as they want to, like it's easy to tell yourself that you're close. We really are close. Games are coming down to the last swing. Like we've lost games on balls that have hit the foul line or, ball strike calls on the black and stuff like that. So, we need to be like one pitch better, one play better in some of these games to turn them our way. But our focus is on really just getting better each and every day, each and every week, so that we just have more control, across 9 innings. And we're not, down to the wire where one play can beat you. If you get a little bit of a run of bad luck, you can end up with some losses and have some games slip away from you. So don't love our record, obviously, but I like where the guys' heads are at. I love the things that they're doing every day. I know we're doing the right things, and I think we're going to just keep getting better as the season goes on.
And then having so many 1-run losses this early in the season, eventually you're going to get some of those games to go your way and get some of those wins. But just how important is it having these games be so close so early on, giving them confidence going in through the rest of the season, knowing, hey, we're in all of these games. It's just now we just have to find a way to finish them.
Oh, it's vital, and it's the best thing for you. I mean, we're kind of eating our vegetables right now, so to speak. Like we're getting the experience of being in tight ball games and being in ball games where each pitch matters, where any one individual play can turn the game one way or another. That's what you want for your team. That's really hard to simulate in practice. We try and do it, but there's nothing quite like being in a Division I baseball game against another team where the outcome is in the balance and you have to make the right play or make one more pitch or have one more good swing or whatever the case may be. So I think it's all really positive. I think you see this in professional sports a lot of times, like teams have to lose a little bit and taste being close, but not quite getting there before they can break through and win. And, it's not the funnest part of the journey, where you feel like, geez, like, gosh, one more thing. And we're feeling really different right now, but we're growing through it and just finding ways to continue to stack good days on good days. Like that's what we talk about. And so today was a good day out at the field. The guys worked hard. I think we made some adjustments that are going to help us, and we'll have another good day tomorrow, and we'll see Niagara this weekend.
And then talking about the schedule a little bit here to get a little bit of a preview for the fans coming into this season. It was a challenging first couple of weeks. A good Navy team on the road, a nationally ranked Maryland squad on the road in that first week, and then St. Joe's, who is, picked to finish near the top of the A-10. Just talk about the way you're challenging these guys early on in the schedule.
Yeah, it's a lot of really good veteran teams. I think one of the things, just the dynamics of our sport have changed a little bit in that before COVID and things started to sort of shift around in departments with budgets and stuff like that, there was maybe more opportunity to go south and play in some, quote unquote, like bigger schools, bigger environments. that isn't as possible anymore on both ends. As it's harder for us to travel, it's harder for those teams to host us. So you're seeing less of that now. So we're playing a little bit more locally early in the year, but we didn't want to lose that aspect of pushing our guys and challenging them, right? So, we tried to be conscientious and say, well, if early in the year we want to play good teams that are going to test us and make us better. So Navy does that every year. We play them every year. Their staff does a great job, and like that's a program that's used to winning. They always do really well in the Patriot League, and obviously like the discipline and toughness of like their players is beyond reproach. Right before we played Maryland, they swept a Big 12 team, and got themselves in the top 25, and I believe they are still undefeated, if I have that right. So
Yeah.
that's a good ball club, and then St. Joe's and Georgetown, both ton of veterans, a lot of grad school guys. I've been really grateful for our opponents. I think they've really made us play at a high level and shown us that we're, like I said, we're better than we were, and we're doing some good things, but we're not at the level that we want to be at. And if we had scheduled maybe some lighter competition, then we wouldn't have found those things out. So we're happy that those teams gave us their A game, and now we have some clarity on what we need to do.
And then especially now early on, you've had a lot of new guys in the lineup, but a lot of veterans returning, Christian Easley, guys like that are still in the lineup, still here. But some of these new guys, Miles Nicholson, Jaden Schertl, let's talk about some of these new guys that have come into the program and what they bring to the team, especially a guy like Miles Nicholson, who has a lot of experience in Division I baseball, transferred from Mount St. Mary's.
Definitely. Miles is a cool story. He's, to me, exactly why the NCAA granted some of these guys an extra year of eligibility. He's using it the right way, where, he had a season essentially taken away from him by circumstance with COVID. Super athletic guy, super coachable, and just a guy who's always learning. And I think as his career has gone on, has picked up more and more skills to go with his athleticism. And you're seeing the fruits of not just his labor here, where I think he's done a good job and really grown as a player, but also across 5 years of college baseball. And now you have a 23-year-old guy who's a terrific athlete and has a ton of game experience and really knows what he's doing. And that's a good guy to have on your side. So I would say I'm excited by the start that he's had. None of us are surprised. He's been really good in practice and scrimmages, and we've just seen him grow as a player, as the years gone on. So and then some younger guys as well. You mentioned Jaden Schertl, who's contributing on both sides of the ball, showing a ton of promise. Definitely has a bright future here. I think Tony Kruger behind the plate has done a nice job and added a lot to us, really, both offensively and defensively. He's a pretty complete player, for a JC transfer, and that's been really positive. I'm excited about the new additions. I think it's a testament to the assistants here and the recruiting operation that, we've been able to continue to add good players to the roster. We're just a couple years into that. And as the years go on, I think, the people who follow us are going to see more and more good players come through the door. I know they will, with the guys that we have committed and so forth. So yeah, it's been good, and it's just the beginning, we believe.
And then you mentioned you have a new assistant on the staff, Phil Disher, guy came over from Navy. Talk about what he brings to this program and what he's going to be able and how he's going to be able to help in the recruiting process.
Sure. Dish has been great. He's a guy that I've known for a long time. I told him in his interview, is like, I know you enough to know that I like you and that you're an easy guy to be around, but I want to talk a little bit more, obviously, in the interview process about like how you fit in here and what you would bring to our team. And it's been just a super easy fit. I mean, great pedigree as a player. He's a terrific player at the University of South Carolina, was a good pro before injuries curtailed his career, got right into coaching, and the combination of his expertise, his intelligence and curiosity. He's a really thoughtful guy in the way that he approaches things, and also his ability to relate to, everybody in the program, coaches, staff, players. It's been pretty seamless getting him on board. And I think he's bringing a lot to our hitters. I mean, I think we faced some good arms so far, and I think he's got them from a technical standpoint and an approach standpoint in a really good place. And I anticipate scoring a good number of runs this year. And I think he's been a big part of that.
And then we kind of touched on some of the new guys, but talk about the returners coming back. You mentioned Christian Easley, Ian Diaz, and guys like that, and what they're going to do to help bring these new guys along.
Well, first off, like culturally, they've been great. Like Ian is our captain, and in particular, like I think he's really pushed himself as a leader. I'm really proud of like the way he's dedicated himself to that and really become a guy who he kind of has his eyes on what the program needs, even more so than what he needs himself. And I think that's just part of his maturation. And he's been great in terms of taking up that leadership role. He's not where he's going to be like statistically as a hitter right now. He started to take a couple really good swings. He had a great swing last night against Georgetown that their center fielder made a terrific play on. I mean, he's the least of anybody's concerns. He's been a good hitter for a long time, and I know he'll be productive for us this year. And he's in his own way is another great culture guy in that he's just so dedicated with the way that he works. He's such a steady presence. Like you can always count on him to be himself in a way that it makes him just great in the clubhouse, great in the dugout. And he's a real technician as a hitter. I know he and Dish have had a lot of sessions together, a lot of one-on-ones, as he's continuing to unlock his swing. So they're just, the two that you mentioned. We've had a bunch of guys who I've really been proud in how they've taken pride in, really owning the values of the program and then trying to disseminate them, and make sure that when they leave here one day, those messages are carried forward. I think that's super important. So yeah, definitely been proud of our returning guys and proud of the way they've improved. We just, from a record standpoint, we just don't have what we hope to show for, but it's coming. They're doing the right things.
And then on the mound, one of the places that your expertise is in, talk about the pitching staff, what the fans can expect from the Retrievers out of the bullpen and in the starting rotation.
Sure. It's been a mixed bag so far. We've had some good days. Like I said, we've controlled games at times, not as much. And, I think it's sort of yet to even out, and we've yet to maybe settle into the season as a group of pitchers. A little of that's availability. Like we're getting some guys back, a couple of guys, that we were hoping to have out of the bullpen, weren't available the first couple of weeks. It kind of felt like as a group, maybe the season came like a little bit early. We just weren't, but by circumstance, I mean, we just weren't ready on time, because health is such a big part of that position. I would say, I think we're settling into a period where, we're going to be able to give guys firmer roles. The starters are going to be able to go longer in games, which will really help us early in the season. I know most coaches are this way, but I know I'm pretty conservative with pitch counts because, again, like the health is a big deal. But guys like Luke Johnson, Joe Puchek, as they start to give us length in games, which they're fully capable of, once we start kind of taking the governor off those guys, so to speak, then I think it becomes easier for the bullpen. And then I think things can settle out nicely. So we're close to kind of having things in place. I will say, I've been doing this for 16 years, coaching college pitchers, and the never had like a smooth early season, just with those pitch count limitations and getting things settled out, and the fact that we don't play exhibition games in college baseball. So there's always been a feeling out process early in the season. This year's no different. It's not always easy. It's not always painless, but the guy, we're starting to see some good performances. We're starting to see guys get consistent, in between appearances and in their appearances. And I think we're going to look up in a couple of weeks and we're going to have things, the right guys in the right seats on the bus, and be able to move forward from there.
And kind of start to get to wrap things up here. Talk about the American East this year. Seems like it might be a little bit more open than normal in some years, obviously with what's going on with Stony Brook being ineligible for postseason play, but just kind of talk about the state of the conference and what it's going to be like this year.
Yeah, the postseason eligibility stuff, that's all I think pretty well above my pay grade. But we're looking forward to playing, the conference opponents like we always do. It's always competitive and it's always pretty even. There's been few. Well, I really can't think of any conference series where it was easy for either team in my time in the America East. Certainly the past few years, I think it's always been pretty competitive. I think when you're watching scores around the league, like you don't have a great feel for how any of these series are going to go because it's always in the balance. So I'm expecting more of the same. Our thing is, from where we are right now, I think we have a platform to grow and to become a team that can have a good season, in the America East and be among the challengers when things settle out in late May. So it's going to just take a little bit of growth. It's not really going to take as much of us matching up with these America East opponents. We'll certainly do the work we always do in scouting and understanding who we're playing. But like right now, here in the first couple of days of March, it's going to be about, well, how much better can we get this week and next week and the week after that? And then by the time we're in the teeth of the conference schedule, if we're a little bit better than we are today, then we'll be in really good shape, and that's our goal.
And then the conference moving to 3 games over the span of 3 days. Talk about how that's going to change, for you planning pitching wise and just an overall change from where it's been in the past.
Yeah, we finally got it right, in my opinion. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is, in my view, how college baseball is meant to be played. I think Friday night college baseball is awesome. I think it's a tradition on a lot of campuses in the country, and we aim to make it one here at UMBC. I think it's easier on the pitching staff. As you spread the innings out over just a greater number of hours and days, that makes it easier to use guys multiple times across a weekend and to give guys proper recovery. And frankly, Dave, like after the COVID experience, if I don't coach another doubleheader again, I'll be okay. I think we all got enough doubleheaders. Those are long days, and our game is hard. Like it's hard for these guys to play baseball at a high level. Not because they're not good players; they're excellent players. It's Division I baseball. These guys are, the cream of the crop in terms of where they're from. But just baseball's, as we know, is a really demanding sport. It's a sport that demands a high skill level, a high level of precision. And I think if you're on your whatever it was, that your 33rd inning or whatever in the last couple days, then I just think that's a lot to ask of any player. So I'm glad we're giving the players and the coaches the best chance to be at their best, because I think that makes our league the best it can be, and that's what we all want.
And not just doubleheaders, 2 days back to back of doubleheaders.
Yeah. Hey, and look, I'm not being critical when I say I'm eager to see the back of that. We did it because it was necessary. The conference and the university did an awesome job getting us on the field safely. So,
right.
You talk about our returning players; they had an opportunity to gain experience and grow. It was a grind, and just getting back to a more normal rhythm. I think you're going to see our level of play and our opponent's level of play go up to where it should be, rather than just kind of a little bit more of an endurance contest at times in 2021.
And then now looking ahead this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Niagara, they come into town. What are you going to expect from them, and what can you expect from your guys coming out this weekend?
Well, I know Niagara, they had a good year last year in their conference. They were like us. They played, predominantly a conference schedule. I think they were strictly conference games. We got just a couple of non-conference games in. Everybody's a little bit of a mystery this year, just because, in our sport, things change so much year to year anyway. And this year they've changed more than any other year, just because of extended eligibility and the different schedule and everything that we went through last year. So we'll do our work on video and, statistically to get in a good position to understand what they're bringing here. But I know they'll be well coached. I know Coach McCoy up there does a really good job. I know that those guys will be excited to play in some good weather, given, kind of what they're up against from a geography standpoint. And, I'm sure what they have to do from a practice standpoint to play our sport. I'm sure it'll be a really competitive series. We're expecting those guys to come in here and play hard and be a difficult opponent. And what we want to do is we want to put our style of baseball and our level of play on the field, first pitch to the last. We haven't quite done that in a game yet this year. We've been close, but we're eager to get to that level and then see where we land. And I think we'll land in a good spot, whether we're playing Niagara or somebody else. That's kind of our foremost focus.
Well, Coach, thank you for taking the time as always, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Dave. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. The Retrievers back in action at Alumni Field this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Niagara. All those games will be live on amerikeast.tv. And as always, keep up to date with UMBC Baseball on umbcretrievers.com and the team's Twitter page at UMBC Baseball.